Okay, here we go, part two. So note to self, if you're going to prattle on, make sure you've got enough room on the SD card before you start. So sorry about that, the cutout, but anyways, continuation, part two. We're at the cardiologist. So yeah, early tests at the cardiologist show that like ultrasound, stress test, and this wearable ECG thing, which is extremely uncomfortable. Like no indications of any issues with my heart, which is oddly disappointing because there's still no explanation for what's going on with my health, sort of thing. And so I sit and talking with the cardiologist, and he sort of says, all right, well, there's one last thing we can do, and that's a CT scan with contrast and actually physically have a look and see what's going on. So it's, all right, cool, we've come this far, let's keep going, we're not going to stop now. Might as well exhaust all avenues while we can. So off we go to CT scan. Which, oddly enough, another Friday morning. Sit there, had the scan done. As I'm being sent on my way, the technician says, just casually, well, we'll get the report put together. Your cardiologist will receive the report Tuesday next week, and go from there. I think I had an appointment 2 weeks down the track or something like that to actually go and see the cardiologist and discuss these particular tests. But as it turns out, then on that afternoon, so I get a call from the cardiologist's office, and they say, we've got an appointment for you made for Monday. Come in and see us. And there was no paid, it was total business. Like, you're coming to see us on Monday, which was like, yeah, all right, yeah, cool. So happy for me because it's all right. Finally, something's been found. I'm going to find out what that is. For Eva, my wife, sent her into a bit of a panic, but it managed to calm her down a little bit eventually, just by saying, hey, look, they've found something, like I'm still here. I'm not dead yet. So off we go on Monday. The cardiologist explains that, just from preliminary report, he obviously hasn't got the full report, that I'm showing a couple blockages of greater than 70%. And he explains that greater than 70% is surgery. Less than 70% they can treat with medication. But it needs to give me a full angiogram just to see the full extent of what's going on. So into the heart clinic we go for the full angio, which when I come out of that, he says, oh, it's a bit worse than we thought actually, which is kind of not what you want to hear, but anyways. So it turns out that on the left side of my heart with the artery, which sort of like splits in two, so on the bottom bit I had a blockage of 90%, and on the other arm which came out I had a 90%, a bit further along another 90%, in between those was a 70 and an 80%, and then like there's little veins coming off of that, there's blockages in there as well, but so it was a fairly extensive little cluster, which is kind of like, well, like how the hell's my heart been working, like if it's got to that extent. So it's like, okay, like surgery, no choice. He explains that there would ordinarily be bypass, no questions asked. That's bypass surgery for that, but because of my spinal issues, He's hesitant to obviously, crack me open and stuff. So his stents, 2 surgeries, he says. And it's like, okay, no problem. And we work it out as it's September, October 2021. Right, basically as Delta variant is causing absolute chaos in our country. And so we've got it worked out that, because I've finally managed to get a booking for my COVID vaccinations as well at this point. So work out, all right, first COVID vaccination, week after that, my first heart surgery, second week, second heart surgery, third week, my second COVID vaccination. So it was like awesome plan. And of course that plan got completely fucked up when COVID got into the cardiologist's household. He himself didn't get it, but obviously because it's in his house, he had to isolate for 14 days. So my surgery was delayed by 2 weeks. So basically my first surgery was due when at the same time as my second COVID vaccination. So it kind of messed that up a bit because you can't, like if I went with the COVID vaccination, then I've got to wait another week before the surgery. Discussing this with the cardiologist, he sort of says, well, what do you want to do first? Do you want to get your vaccination or do you want a heart surgery? And, I sort of jokingly, well, like which one's going to kill me first, COVID or, like a heart attack? I thought, well, I think the heart's a bit more, kind of immediate and actually here. So we'll go with the heart surgery. So went with that. Put me on the table. He was going to look after the extensive cluster, but he noticed that the one that was on its own, that was 90% a couple of weeks beforehand, had actually become 99%. So it was, like there, basically. He explained to me later that if I had have decided to delay it and go with the second COVID vaccination, and I would most definitely have died. So a bit sobering to be told that, and to know that I was probably that close anyways. But so he sorted that out. And then, a couple of weeks later, I get the other heart surgery as well. So I've got a grand total of 5 stents. There's 2 in the first blockage and 3 in the second, as he's reconstructed all my arteries in my heart. And heart feels a lot better actually, because once that went away, it was quite strange. My heart's breathing, I guess you could say. The tightness in my chest that I wasn't even aware was there, like gone. So I didn't know I had this tightness in my chest until I didn't have it, if that makes sense. So that's another warning sign for people to look for if you're feeling tight in your heart or in your chest. It's possibility of a heart issue. So something to just keep in your mind. So that was late last year. My 2 heart surgeries. I'm now in rehab and that. So walking is a lot of that, but I'm feeling a lot better. My legs are still obviously messed up, but not quite as bad as they were when my spinal injury first occurred. But